Hello. Welcome to July 1st. I'm just wondering where May and June went. It just seems everything goes so fast, doesn't it? So, welcome to Mini Healings. Some good things will happen tonight. I'm fully expecting that. So I'll get my little book out. And would you believe today is show number 158. So, and as always, I keep track of who shows up and what we're working on. So, yes. And in about 5 minutes, we will start with our first healing pulse. And then after that, we will do some individual healing. We'll also do a little bit of group healing where I focus on negative beliefs. And then we'll do a couple more healing pulses in the next hour, and then at the end we'll do an aura strengthening exercise, and we'll see if anything else comes up to do. But those are pretty much the basics for my first of the month free mini healings. Every once in a while I add something in, but for the most part, pretty basic. I focus on tools that are very fast. Although I have a lot of tools, some of them take quite a bit of time. And I save those for my private sessions. But for the mini healings, my goal is to help as many people as possible. And so I do that quickly and most of the time efficiently with muscle testing and intuition. Every once in a while we get off track, but that's okay. Whatever is meant to be will be. So 3 more minutes for the healing pulse. And the healing pulse is my creation. And I really like it because it works with my energy and yours. And it goes to where you direct it to go. And that's much different than another one of my tools like Reiki, which goes where it's divinely guided to go. So it's a nice difference. But yes. So, I'm trying to think what else. Again, I just can't believe it's July 1, but that's okay. Hello, Heather. I hope you're well. So for those of you who are joining us on Facebook, we're also on YouTube. And for those of us joining us on YouTube, we're also on Facebook. I'm going to just double check and see because I'm supposed to have a chat box that shows up and merges both, but it looks like even though I had turned it on before we started, it dropped off. So we'll see if we can get that to show up, because it's always nice when people can see what other people write in. So there we go. Wonderful. Like it when things like that work. So I'll give you some instructions for the healing pulse. So with it, think about where you would like to receive the energy, especially if you're dealing with something physical. That's a pretty easy thing to know. Like if you've got pain somewhere or you've got some discomfort. So that's where you'll want to send the energy. But if you suffer from anxiety or you have got some emotional things going on, think about where you feel that. Like for me, and I think I say this every single week, for me, when I'm anxious, it's in my gut, in the pit of my stomach. And so if I'm sending healing energy to deal with anxiety, that's where I'll want to send it, to the pit of my stomach. So, or if you deal with things like anger, where does that live within you? Have you thought about it? Because it's within you somewhere. And if we can reach it, hopefully we could work on reducing your levels. So, we've got one more moment, and then we will start with our first healing pulse. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome. So I used to do this every week, starting from, let me look at my little book, May 7th of 2020, I did my first show. And then for 3 years, I did for every week, just about. And then there were some changes, partially through my Facebook account was stolen, and I had mainly done everything through Facebook Live. So when you don't have a Facebook account, that really doesn't work. So that's when this account was born. And I did some name changes too because I didn't feel safe. Isn't that sad? So, but yeah, a lot of crazy times. So let's get started. So with the Healing Pulse, now I've already sort of given you instructions about where you want to send the energy. But to start, I want you to rub your hands together, get those energies flowing in your hands, and then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Next, imagine my hands are on yours. And here's the most important part. Allow the energy to flow. With each breath in, the healing goes a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing something. Maybe it's energy. Maybe it's something that doesn't belong. Maybe it's something that's not even yours. But imagine in comes the healing and out goes the releasing. And if you're sensitive, you might even feel it. Some people feel a tingle or a heat, or just a knowing that something is flowing a little differently than before we started. So just breathe that in, allow it to heal, breathe out, allow it to release. Open and allowing. Okay, so that's our first healing pulse. The nice thing about the healing pulses is they're fairly short. So if you like them, I have a free newsletter that I don't do very often. But when you sign up for it, you get a link that gives you a private YouTube video that I've done that does like 3 healing pulses in a row. So if that interests you, go ahead and sign up for it. I definitely don't spam you. I tried to do it every month, and it's more of an event kind of newsletter. It's not, it's pretty rare when I post things about, articles about healing and other things, because it's mainly, as I said, events. Every once in a while, I'll do some automatic writing, and I think I've posted that once or twice, but I don't do enough of that to really send out a lot of newsletters. So generally, my goal is once a month, but I'm lucky if it's once a quarter. But I did do one like in June, so that was good. but I have not done one for July. And I try and do it like right before the first, so it sort of reminds people that the mini healing's coming up. So anyways. Oh, and there's Renee. Welcome, Renee. So I'm starting my list of people who have something you want me to work on and see if there's some underlying issues going on. So sometimes one trapped emotion can really make a huge difference. Sometimes maybe it helps a little, but there's generally more layers to the issue than just one. So you can come back every month and do the same thing, or you can book a private session. So I also have sessions available through email, through Zoom, or in person. So most of my people are from Zoom. And I just set up I have a calendar program, and the program I was using was from the UK. I really liked it, but they made their price totally unaffordable and very disappointing. So I switched to something else, but I haven't used it enough to know if I even like it. So if you book something or you try to book something, let me know. In the description on Facebook and YouTube. In the description is a link. Okay, so Renee's got something here, so I'm going to put her on my list under eye redness. Is that both eyes, Renee? Okay, so with all my tools, usually I try and focus on one or two, and I do, with the muscle test, I use a lot of lists. Left eye. Okay. Let's just see, since I think it's going to be a quiet night. Here's like my favorite book, which talks about spiritual reasons for things. Except I don't know what I would look up for that. So redness? No. Nothing under redness. Oh, and there's Tony. Left hip. Okay. So I think this time I'm going to use my negative emotional chart because it has like 400 negative emotions. So a lot of what I do regarding emotions is based on Dr. Bradley Nelson, who wrote the book, The Emotion Code. And so like here's his emotion code list. There's 60 trapped emotions on this. But sometimes I really like it when it has a lot more. So the list that I use is from Stephen Keller's booklet, who is another healer. And I think there's like 400 on his negative emotion chart. It's one of the things that I use most from his booklet. And then there's Amy. Welcome, Amy. Ooh, itchy rash, maybe. All right, so let's see. I do get yes to rash. So, but my little kitty Rudy, who's going to be 16 in just a few months, the side of his face is just huge, and I think a wasp got him. So He seems to be feeling okay, but the swelling's still up there. He's had it for a couple days. So is it a bug bite, Renee, or it's just sort of not a bite? Oh, Francine, I hope you don't get knocked out either. All right, so let's see. So with Renee, is there sometimes, even though there's not always a direct correlation to certain things, certain emotions, sometimes areas are almost targeted. So let's see. Oh. Well, so I do have a trapped emotion for you, Renee, and it's the word miserable. Wow. So there's some type of energy attached to that pillow. Have you smudged that pillow, Renee? And you don't even need to use sage to do it. You could do it with Reiki with the intention that you are clearing energy. But let me get an age for trapped emotion miserable, because somehow that's playing a role in just keeping that redness, that rash stuck. Around age 26. So somewhere 25, 26, 27. And as I've said before, ages are sort of the hardest thing. So usually it's within a year. That'd be okay, Renee. It's all about intention with energy work. So set the intention that you're going to clear the energy connection between you and that pillow and see if that helps. But let's release the energy. So there was a vent that made you just feel really super miserable around 26. And somehow that's playing a role. So let's release that. Wow, Francine, that does sound sort of cool. Although I hope you don't get drenched. Okay, so that did release for Renee. You'll have to let me know if that makes a difference, Renee. All right, looking through to make sure I didn't miss anybody, because let's see, because Amy said hello, but did I miss you saying if you wanted to work on anything? No, but if you do, Amy, just put it in the comments. The same thing with you too, Francine. All right, so Tony, we're going to work on Tony's left hip. Actually, since I know that, I think that's in here. So let's see. Hips. Very interesting. So this lists a bunch of things that are possible emotional contributing factors. So here's hips. And so Amy, listen up too. Family problems and disagreements, feeling used, unappreciated, angry, betrayed, deceived, let down, shot down, alienated, experiencing strain, frustration, guilt, lack of support, too much responsibility, feeling unacknowledged, taken advantage of, and manipulated. So if we were having a session and you had problems with your hip, we would go through. So if you have at least half of those contributing factors, I would really focus on those. Oh, there's Pamela. Welcome. Good to see you, Pamela. So especially when you have hip issues, unhealthy emotions to work with, clearing, criticism, judgment, frustration, and stuckness. I love that word, stuckness. So, but for each of you, both Amy and Tony, we're going to see if there's something personal going on. So Amy's got back and right hip. Pamela, if you have anything you want me to work on, let me know. If you just want to observe, that is great too. All right, so let's see. So Tony, it's the word uneasy. And so when I say these words, these are generally linked to some type of event. So like with Renee, it was miserable. And so with Tony, it's uneasy. Let me get an age for Tony. Nice, Francine. I will add you to the list of, I'll put detox and then I'll also put inner child, and we'll just see what comes up that we can see about doing anything to help you. So just getting a age for Tony. So I'm getting something around 24, Tony. So 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there, there was something going on that just made you feel really uneasy. And so that energy has sort of gotten trapped. So let's go ahead and release that. So that did release. Take a walk around your room and see if that loosened up even just a little. Because especially when things happen, sometimes they happen in layers. And so sometimes you need to get to each one for more of a dramatic difference. But sometimes all it takes is one. So I guess maybe we should be positive that miracles are going to occur, right? All right, so let's go on to Amy. Amy, we're going to work on your right hip. So with Amy, I'm getting the word mocked. You don't hear that word too much, but it still happens quite a bit. But let's get an age for Amy. Around age 14, teenage years, those are oftentimes pretty tough. So somewhere 13, 14, 15, where someone was mocking you. So let's go ahead and release those energies. Okay, that did release. And for those of you who do energy work too, just support me in the release and assist all you can. For those of you who don't really do energy work, it's more of just a lending support and approval for me doing it. Okay, so Pamela, weight issues. Okay, so Francine, let's see. So, because she's working on detox and inner child stuff, and I'm getting It's the inner child stuff we're going to work on. So let's see what we can do to help assist you in that. So this I'm getting is from around age 6, Francine. So somewhere 5, 6, 7. And it's the word defiled. So I don't know if you've got recollection of that. I know for me, I don't have a lot of childhood memories. But whether you do or you don't, just lend support in releasing that and helping that little girl within. So releasing and removed the energy and the feeling of defiled. Welcome, Katie. We're doing individual healing now. So if you'd like me to work on something, just put it in the comments. Okay, so Francine, getting that release. Give that little girl a big hug though, okay? Yeah, that's tough at any age, but especially 6. All right, so we're going to do our next healing pulse. When we come back, I'll work on Pamela, and if anyone else has any thing they want to work on too. Yep. Katie, I'm still taking requests, so if you want to put something down. So let's do our second healing pulse of the night. So for those of you who are here for the first healing pulse, something to evaluate is, do you notice a difference in what happened after the first one? And if so, do you feel the need to adjust your hands, or do you want to put them exactly in the same place? Or either you don't have a place that you want to send energy or receive energy from your hands, so you can pick a different location. Oftentimes, if I don't really have a location that I want to work on for myself, I'll send it to my heart, or sometimes I'll even send it to the third eye area. All right, so everyone ready? So send this. So rub your hands together till they're warm, and then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the healing energy. And then imagine my hands on yours. And then be open and allowing the energy to flow. If you experience more, things on a deeper level when you do breath work, I suggest do that as you are receiving and as you are releasing. Oftentimes I'll do the box breath with a count of 4 for each. But if you've got a favorite breath, feel free to do that. So I'm going to continue to send you energy. Just breathe that in. And as you breathe out, imagine it being released. Okay, so that was our healing pulse number 2. We'll do one more for the end of the evening, and then I will do aura strengthening at the end. All right, so going back, so I've got Pamela, and Pamela's got some weight issues. We're going to see if we can release a layer that's contributing towards that. So it's the word malicious. So these words that I describe, oftentimes they're linked to an event or something that was going on. And so let me, oh my gosh, Francine, that links directly to what came up. Wow. So tune into that, Francine, and allow that to heal and release. That's horrible. But I'm glad it came up for you so that this will be a part of your healing. So Pamela, let me get an age for malicious. Getting around 11, Pamela. So 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. So not very old at all, but you know, sometimes kids can be just vicious. So let's tune in and release malicious for Pamela. And let it release, Pamela. So oftentimes weight is a protector. And especially when malicious comes up, you had reason to protect. Sorry. So just allow that to release and that you're safe now. Okay, so Katie is next. Katie wants help with balancing her hormones. Let me see if there's anything in my little book about hormones. Sometimes it's too specific, but not there. Ooh, but there's another area for hip problems. So this is for hip problems. So too much responsibility, carrying people and problems around, the sense of burden, too much frustration and guilt, feeling undervalued, unacknowledged, unsupported, and underappreciated, feeling shot down, manipulated, used, taken for granted, inability to move forward. So that was in a different part of my book. Usually I go to this part for individual issues. Wonderful, Pamela. Thank you for sharing. I love that feedback. Just seeing if hormones is in. Nope, it's not. So, but that's okay. That's why I have lists. Indecision, Katie. Let me get an age. Getting around age 26. So somewhere 25, 26, 27. So I don't know if as an adult you've had trouble making decisions, but this could be part of why. So and it's interesting because when you think about indecision, you go back and forth, back and forth. And you want to work on balancing, and balancing often goes back and forth and back and forth. Well, the indecision links to the back and forth, doesn't it? So Katie, think about releasing whatever happened when you were around 26 that made decisions harder for you. So we're going to release and remove that. And so I'm getting that released. So let me know how you're doing with that, Katie. All right, so next we're going to do a little bit of group work. And with this, we're going to work on negative beliefs. And the interesting thing about group work is even the individual things that have come up tonight, there are some of you that when I've said an emotion, you're like, oh, that's one of my issues. So sometimes you are so welcome, Katie. So, and I imagine you are not the only one dealing with balancing. So, because there are reasons why you are here tonight, not just for your individual issue, which is really wonderful that you can get an individual trapped emotion pulled, but pay attention to the people that you're also listening to, because sometimes there's another reason why you're here, and you can get more bang for your buck by paying attention. So let's just see. Okay. So, I've got one more that I need to add. This is for Valerie. She's got thrush. So let me see. Yeah, love that feedback, Katie. Thank you. So I'm going to see if thrush is in here. So for some reason, I recall thrush sort of being related to candida. Is that? Oh, thrush. C. candida. So, and this is for Valor, who's also an energy worker. All right. So here are spiritual reasons for candida. Self-doubt, feeling scattered, hazy, frazzled, stressed, trapped, frustrated with your partner, blaming your partner or someone close to you, feeling angry that you aren't getting what you want, but not wanting to change or take positive action, difficulty trusting and confiding in people. So if you know that some of those are yours, work on releasing them. All right, so, but that's what the book says. We're going to go and find an underlying reason for Valerie specifically. I just need to get to the right page. There we go. And it's just the word unhappy. So with Valerie, I would imagine that at some point there was an event that she was extremely unhappy during that time period. So let me get an age. So she may or may not be able to pinpoint what event this was. "55. So somewhere 54, 55, 56, something was going on that Valerie was extremely unhappy. So we're going to work on releasing and removing that. Okay, so that released. All right, so let's do our third healing pulse. And then we will do the group healing. We're going to do 3 negative beliefs for the group healing. All right, so for the third healing pulse, think about, especially those of you who started at the very beginning, do you want to keep sending to that location? I know when I help people do multiple healing pulses, usually the healing pulse number 2 is the strongest for most people. But sometimes it's number 3, because with each pulse, and I'm talking pulse as a series. So we did one pulse at 7 p.m. Central, or 7:10 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Central, and now 7:46. And so each grouping of those energies is 1. So this is our third in the series. And so it's pretty common. I did one person where I think we did up to 7, and that just didn't seem to be quite as effective. It's better if we can sort of mix and match my tools, but the healing pulse is a fabulous tool. So let's do healing pulse number 3. So place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Place your hands there, and I'm going to place my hands exactly on top of your energies, especially those of you with physical issues. Place your hands, or if you can't reach them, imagine that your hands are there. And so, Pamela, with your weight issues, does your weight have is there a place where the consciousness of your body lives as far as the weight goes? And if that location comes to you, place your hands there, because you're going to want to send healing. All of you are going to send healing. So just breathe that in, breathe that out, open, allowing. So like Renee, I would expect you to be sending this to under your eye, because you can use the healing pulse for just about anything. So just breathing it in. Okay. All right, so that was our third healing pulse. So let's do negative beliefs. And generally with these, usually over 50% of people watching the video either now or on the replay will have at least one of these negative beliefs. The first one is, I am no good. Let's see what the second one is. I am uninteresting. Okay, and the third one. I am stupid. Okay, so let's see what percent of people have this. Wow, Francine, that's pretty cool. So long as you're not in any danger. But the power of the healing pulse to Francine directly, right? Okay, so let's see. I am no good. What percent of people watching the video now and on the replay have this? 65%. That's horrible. And so with this, maybe it isn't you now, but it was you when you were younger. So if that resonates with you, when I release it, work with me on healing that piece of it. Okay, I am uninteresting. Let's see what that percent is. %55. Okay, I am stupid. All right. $50. Isn't that sad? But, so these are all parts of our lives that maybe we didn't entirely deal with. Okay. So lend your support and intention that if this is part of your path, that it's healed and released. Okay. So let's heal and release I am no good. So wherever that was, if this is yours in your past, that you release it. Releasing I am no good. Good. All right. Releasing I am uninteresting. Releasing that. Good. I am stupid. Ugh, I hate that word. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Okay, so that released too. All right. So it is 7:53 here, which is a little earlier. And it's a very quiet summer night. So I do find when I do mini healings that summers are often the quietest. And like the spring, things were pretty sort of crazy. And so I sort of cut back on things that I used to do during the mini healings. But my favorite is the positive emotion list. And so with this, you give me one positive emotion you want to instill within you, and I will give you 2 more. And it's actually sort of fun. So to start, I want you to put what positive emotion you want me to imbue within you. And then I'll add 2 more. Sound good? And then after that, we will do the aura strengthening. Everybody's so quiet. Ooh, there's a couple. Good. All right. So let me see. So Tony's got worthy. That's a good one. Amy's got happiness. That's another good one. Pamela's got joy. Another good one. Oh, Francine, laughter. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so here is for Tony. Tony chose worthy, and I'm adding persevering and unselfish. So I'm going to instill those within Tony. Worthy, persevering, and unselfish. Really nice. Okay, Amy is next. And Amy's got happiness. So let's see what goes with happiness. Flip a page. Okay, one more. Okay, so Amy chose happiness, and I'm adding influential and good natured. Nice. Okay, Pamela chose joy. So let's see what goes with that. All right, so Pamela chose joy, and then we have trusting and pleasant. Very nice. So those are instilled. All right, Francine chose laughter. I like that one. Okay, so Francine, laughter, and I'm adding secure and thrilled. Nice. Sorry, my little dog sometimes can be quite into stuff. Duncan, what are you doing? Come here, Duncan. Come say hello to everybody. Come here, Dunk. You can do it. Come on. There we go. He's my little co-pilot in healing sometimes. So this is Duncan. Yes. No licking, Duncan. All right, so next, let's do aura strengthening. And so the reason why I pretty much end every mini healing show with aura strengthening is because a strong aura is something that helps repel negativity. And as you know, especially the last few years, there's been so much negativity. And so with this, you can pull in the healing pulse energy. You have my permission, or I always encourage you to work with your own energies too. And so with this, you'll want to start by rubbing your hands together. And if you're using healing pulse energies too, just think about it when you do this. Otherwise, if you're just using your own energies, just think about that. Get the energy flowing, and then just start sending out to your aura, sort of beaming out, and imagine that the energy is making it thicker and more protective, more resistant to anything negative coming through. But it still allows love, light, and healing to come in. But as you're making this wall around you more protective, think about what you want to fill up the inside with. So, and how about you fill up the inside with, I am worthy, I'm happy, I am joy, I am full of laughter. Fill up the things that you are trying to make more of. Okay? So also, with your aura, imagine that you are also putting in little pieces of reflective mirror. So if someone is sort of spewing some nasty stuff at you, that it reflects back at them, so they get a piece of their nastiness. Okay, so that was aura strengthening, especially you guys that had some physical issues. How are you feeling now? Do you feel that area a little lighter, not quite as tight? That's fairly common. So I will be here again August 1st. One of these days I'll think up another event to do, but I haven't. Keep going back and forth on just keeping my schedule light or doing something more, but I haven't quite decided. So, but as always, it's been wonderful. Duncan says it's been wonderful. Duncan. So when I do Reiki, especially like if I'm having like a client healing session, and oftentimes with Zoom, instead of going, I have a little tiny house that I've got that I do my in-person sessions, but a lot of times for Zoom, I'll just do on my couch. And at the end of a session, usually I give like 10 minutes of Reiki if it doesn't come up to use during the session. And he sometimes pops up because he wants some Reiki too. Yep, you're just a good little Reiki dog. But my private sessions are sort of like this, only even more. And I muscle test what tools I'll use. Sometimes it's as simple as a trapped emotion, but sometimes there's entities. Sometimes there's many layers of other things. And, it just depends on what comes up. So, very good. I'm sorry, Sunny, I'm sort of logging off. So, but I'll be here August 1st, 7 p.m. Central. So I hope everyone had a good night and you received the healing that you're meant to receive. But have a fabulous night and a happy 4th of July for those in the US that are celebrating. So good night.